Success Insight shares the stories of the people with passion and drive who make things happen in the world. Here's your host, Howard Fox.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Mindset Monday with Andrée Martin on the Success Insight podcast. As you all know by now, Andrée is our leadership mindset and golf performance coach. She is an LPGA Class A Life member, a nationally recognized top 50 golf teacher and expert, and a member of the Maine Golf Hall of Fame. Recognizing golf's value as a business tool in today's competitive marketplace, Andrée works with individuals, groups, corporate, or organizational clients to create educational and team-building programs that enhance the professional success of aspiring executives. Andrée Martin, always a pleasure to have you on the Success Insight podcast and our special series, Mindset Monday with Andrée Martin. Welcome.
Thank you, Howard. It's always good to be back and ready for another Mindset Monday.
Fantastic. So how are we going to begin?
Today's topic is change begins in your language. I've always said we want to go for the gold and not settle for silver. And it takes me back to this summer's Olympic Games, where there were moments where athletes had to make choices. Do I compete? Am I going to take care of my mental health? And how important was that? And they certainly had to think about their language and how they expressed what they needed to do for themselves in order to continue to go for the gold. Or in the case of Simone, it was going for the gold for her was mental health.
Right.
And the language with which she spoke was very carefully selected. And if you really paid attention to how she managed herself through this whole process, it was always very positive. It was always thoughtful for, and I have to think now I'm thinking out of the box here, not necessarily coming from her, but there were sponsors involved. You had the entire Olympics, the United States, her representation in all these cases. Those are all really important things to take into consideration in making this huge decision. And if change begins in your language, well, she not only took that in, she took it all in and in how she expressed herself and composed herself. And I'm going to get to that in even more detail toward the end of this conversation, Howard. But
Okay.
Last week's episode was I am what I tell myself. Well, she held herself as a high-level athlete throughout the whole conversation and continues to be that. Now it's level up time for you. And I mentioned in that last episode, we have a choice in each moment of our lives. That was a huge choice she had to make, but it was a very important choice so that she could continue to be the premier athlete that she was. And she still took home medals.
Sure.
So that was pretty powerful. And taking the language piece one more step, I was having a conversation with a dear friend of mine that was asked to come to her doctor's office for a survivor meeting. And she goes, I'm so tired of this. She goes, I'm a thriver, not a survivor. And I thought that was fantastic. It's right in there with the language that you use. She already is survived. She has thrived. And it's interesting because she's actually taking a stand and going to try to get the medical facilities to consider changing that language. Because it's not about survival. She's already made it. She's thriving now and living. And how are you folks out there listening? Living. I actually have to have a hip replacement.
Oh, my.
And I was having a conversation the other day with a friend of mine, and like any joint replacement, nobody wants it. I wasn't planning on having any more surgery, but it's something that I have to do. And I was getting pissed and angry and frustrated. And I'm thinking that's going to take a whole lot of time out. And what about my vacation? Blah, 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 blah. Well, that's a pity pot, right? So I'm flipping that. I'm having a hip enhancement. And I'm going to play the best golf of my life. When I'm done, I'm going to be the best coach. I'm going to be 100% there and ready for others. Folks, how are you doing that in your business? Where are you catching yourself saying words even like I'm not good enough. Well, what do you want instead? What do you want it to look like? How do you want to speak and be the mentor for others, the supervisor for others, the top level sales executive for others, the best executive in your company? And what do your staff, colleagues, peers want to hear from you? They don't want to hear you whining. They want to hear you saying, I got this. Instead of saying, I hope the doctor doesn't mess up. No, you just tell the doctor, I want positive language throughout this whole surgery. I know you're the best in the region, and not just the state, the entire region. And I know you're going to perform the best surgery ever. You are the best, and I expect the best. And I know you will do that for me. How's that language?
I love that language.
Right. There's the other thought, oh my God, I could die in surgery. Well, yeah, everybody has to sign away all those waivers, right? But why not this? I'm going to feel like $1 million. Once recovered, I'm going to play my best ever. And I'm going to up level my game and challenge everybody else to do the same. How are you going to be bionic for yourself? I'm going to do it. Come join me.
There you go.
So what self-talk are you really using? What self-talk are you telling yourself? What are you believing? How do you want to feel? And remember that the body listens. There's a reason we call it body language, right? So the body takes in whatever you tell it. So what do you want it to manifest for you? Health or dis-ease? And the unconscious mind listens to what you tell it.
Yeah.
So again, are we going to drive and thrive? You bet. We're going to walk like a champion and play our best ever. Whether it's business, golf, relationships, life, go for it, folks. We can make it hard. Wouldn't it be more fun to make it easy and effortless?
Well, it's funny. Nobody ever said whatever we're facing isn't hard, though we can make it better with a good mindset and a choice or selection of affirming language rather than language that brings about the negative.
Exactly.
Flip it, bring about the positive.
Right. I mean, it's just even simple. You hear this in sports a lot. You suck, right? No, I'm good. And I'm powerful and inspiring one to reckon with. So come on, let's go. I want to wrap up this episode by having you those listeners out there, just know that you are what you say, you are what you think, you are what you do. So how do you want others to treat you? And how do you now want to treat yourself? And know that change begins in your language. And change can start now.
I love it. Really giving our listeners the ample information and insight to, as you so consistently say, going for the gold and not settling for silver. So it's another powerful session today.
Thank you, Howard. Folks out there, just make sure you check in with yourself weekly. How are you doing? You can start one day at a time, and then at the end of the week, how did you do? And then improve next week.
I love that exercise. Even if you start once a week, that's a place to start. But if you can ramp that up to even a daily, how well did I do? What could I have done a better job of? What would I change? And also asking for help. Who do I need to support me? And that's a wonderful thing. And, start it off for a week and then see where you go from there. I love it. You mentioned you're up for the hip surgery. And I know this is the middle of October. And, as our listeners realize, we do record these episodes. And so we most definitely, by the time we publish this, you will be in the throes of that surgery. And we certainly hope that you have a very successful procedure and a quick and speedy recovery so you get out there and able to work with your clients and just to help them succeed. But we need you in good health as well.
Absolutely. And I will be. I'm going to better my best. And I'll be there for everybody come November. And it's going to be great.
Fantastic. Now, before we head out, once again, Andrée, where are the best places for our listeners to go if they'd like to learn more about you and your work?
You can go to andreegolf.com. That's Andrée with 2 E's. I'm also on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. Love to have everybody join me.
Very good. We'll provide the backlinks so they can do just that to your website and to your social sites. So, Andrée, once again, thank you so much. And we will see you in November, okay?
Thanks, Howard.
All right, folks, we have just been chatting with Andrée Martin on Mindset Monday on the Success Insight podcast, and we hope you enjoyed today's episode. Change begins in your language. Please do go out and visit Andrée on our website or social sites, or you can find this episode with Andrée on our podcast page, successinsightpodcast.com, as well as on LinkedIn and Facebook on our Success Insight podcast pages, as well as the podcasting platforms, Amazon Music, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast. We are also now on Audible, and you can also find us on iHeartRadio, Pandora, and especially Spotify, where we have organized all of our episodes of Mindset Monday with Andrée Martin on our playlist, and that's available to you as well. You just search for Success Insight or search for Mindset Monday, and you will find our episodes with Andrée. And of course, wherever you find us, we'd love to know what you think. Please like, share, comment. It's important. This is important stuff, okay? Mindset, our language, and how we prepare ourselves and we prepare others. It's just so very important. So these Mindset Mondays episodes with Andrée are just true gold and really giving you the path to go for that gold and not to settle for silver. Okay, folks, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, go out there, have a phenomenal day. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your family. Practice social distancing if it makes sense. Wear your mask if it makes sense. But above all, take care of the community and the people that care about you and the people you care about as well. We'll see you on another episode of Mindset Monday with Andrée Martin on the Success Insight podcast. Take care now.
Success Insight is a production of Fox Coaching and First Story Strategies. Find us online, successinsightpodcast.com.